Shalom Aleichem to my angels, disciples of the Celestial Lodge. I welcome you again today for another testimonial revelation that was promised that I would do during these last days, in the last days, which are now. Last week we followed the promise, what I said I would do, and we presented something that was not done before, some revelations that we had to bring clear to you of subject, especially those that involved false prophets and false Christs that said they would rise in the last days, according to Matthew chapter 24, verses 11 and 24. This week, I'm going to answer some more promises and questions that were asked over 2,027 years ago. The book was sealed. And now that we are in another administration in this government, this de facto government that's called the United States of North America, some more questions were asked and raised that I'm going to loose that was sealed today. And speaking of today, I'm going to announce two calendars that are governing today. The first calendar is the true calendar. That is the main calendar, the solar calendar, the celestial calendar that rules time. And that time is being ruled by the sun, that's solar time. And today is known as the 25th day of the first month of our new cycle. Now, this is another cycle of 360 days that we are in, the 25th day, and we're on the east coast of the United States of North America right now. We're looking at a little bit after 4 o'clock hour or 9 o'clock. And it being a few hours from now, it'll be sundown on the east coast of the United States. And we'll be looking into the 26th day of the first month of our solar year, 6028, at sundown. Our day begins at sundown and ends at sundown. So from sundown to sundown is a day of 24 hours of our solar time. And it being, we also, not only are we on the east coast of the United States, but we're also in Florida, with a state called Florida in the south. And Miami, the city of Florida in Miami in the south, which of course is the largest city in South Florida, the county of Miami-Dade County. That takes care of that calendar. And according to the world calendar, the Gregorian calendar that this world is governing themselves by today, today is known as Thursday, April the 3rd, the third day of April, 2025. And going back now for a moment to our month, our months are not numbered by name. Our months are numbered by cycle. 30 days in each month, cycle, 30 days. Perfect 30 times 12 equals 360. 360. And that was done by Ab, who is the creator of the universe. My Ab, I say Ab. Ab, Aleph Beth is father in Hebrew. Yod, he's Ab. He's my Ab. I am in the middle. In the middle of the children, which is Beth and Bath. Beth no Sophie, Bath no Sophie. That's Ab, my father, I in the middle, and Beth and Bath no Sophie on the other side. I'm in the middle as mediator. And I'm known by my people as Mika. And in the Bible is Mika. Mika, the so-called Mercite. And that my book is one of the most important books today in prophecy. I'm going to go over it in a moment. But getting back to I in the middle and a Beth, when you put those characters together, that's A, B, from left to right, A, B, I in the middle, and B on the end. Beth, Bath no Sophie, Beth no Sophie. You have a bed. You have the mystery of the word Abib, which is the first in its series, the first month, according to Deuteronomy chapter 16 and verse 1. That's the first in the series, Abib. And we are now in our next cycle of 360 days. And we're we're in the 25th day, first cycle of the first month. That's known as Ab, I in the middle, and Beth, Abib. Now, with that said, if you're going to follow along with us, and we're not going to take up too much of your time today, but if you're going to follow us, you're going to need a Bible. Now, you can use any Bible you like. You have a variety to choose from today of Bibles. However, to follow this testimonial revelation, I'm going to use the King James Authorized Edition Bible of 1611, the Authorized 1611 edition. And that was handed down through centuries from John Wycliffe and then William Tyndale, that became the closest to the scrolls that were translated, the Hebrew scrolls, into English. So I'm going to use that Bible. Now, with that said, there was some weeping going on around me, even outside of me. Weeping, especially after Monday, May 7th. Monday, May 7th, 2007. Why is that? Because that's the day when news got around to my people that one who was known to them only as, I quote, Yahweh ben Yahweh, end quote, so-called died or passed away. And that's a part of Revelation chapter 21, where it says, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. In Revelation 21, new heaven and new earth, and also Matthew 24 is hidden in there, passed away, also passed on. But in Matthew 24, it says, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. And then in Revelation 21:1, it says that there'll be a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and first earth will pass away. Well, John the Baptist passed away. That was not whom you thought it was. And because they thought he was the Son of God, they're weeping. Why? Because no one was found worthy to open the book, neither loose the seals, neither look thereon. According to Revelation chapter 5. Let's take a look at that for a moment. Because right now, we're right in it, in the last days. And I'm going to explain something to you that you really don't have to weep anymore. Those who thought that he was the Son or the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Take a look at Revelation chapter 5. And I'm going to read that. To read verbatim as you read along with me. Revelation chapter 5, beginning at verse 1. And that says, I quote, and I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the backside, comma, sealed with 7 seals, period. So what does that mean? Well, there's a book. And in this verse, chapter 5 of Revelation, verse 1, there's a book that was sealed with 7 seals. But this book that was sealed with 7 seals was sealed on the backside with 7 seals. Now, the backside means it was sealed in Hebrew. The backside, written within. And on the backside, sealed with 7 seals. That was sealed from right to left. That's the backside. That means this book will be sealed from the backside from right to left. That's Hebrew. Hebrew, our idiom, is written and read from right to left. That's the backside. Now, the front side is written and read from left to right. But this book, in verse 1 of Revelation chapter 5, was sealed with 7 seals written within and on the backside, sealed with 7 seals. That's from right to left. That means that's the book called Micah. When you take a look at your Bible, if you know your Bibles, you'll know there are 66 so-called books of the Bible, King James Version. And Micah, of course, is right in the middle of that Bible. That's number 33. However, Micah is the only book of the 66 that has exactly 7 chapters. Each chapter of Micah became a seal that was sealed on the backside, written within, that Micah wrote himself with his own fingers. Now, on this side, which is the front side, is written from left to right and is read from left to right, and that will explain those who are crying now, because they are crying from left to right. That's a figure of speech. That's figuratively, see? They're crying from left to right, because that's all Judah speaks today, English. Judah speaks English today, and they write from left to right, speaking and writing in English. They comprehend English idiom. And that would explain why they're weeping. If they knew the truth of where they come from originally, they would know that they come from the backside, Hebrew, which is written and spoken from and read from right to left, opposite. So now that we got verse 1 out of the way, I pray that we make that clear. If not, here's what you can do. Let's do it. Let's go to the Strong's Concordance. I want you to type in your box. Type in backside in English. In English. That's BACKSIDE, from left to right. And you're going to discover that that's your Strong's Concordance. Now, you need that. Your Strong's Concordance, your Bible, dictionary, have one. Take notes too. Grab something to write with. Grab an ink pen, some paper, a notebook to write. Take notes, write. The word backside that you know in English from left to right is only printed 3 times, the King James Version Holy Bible. Twice in the book called Exodus, which is the second book, and once what we're reading right now in Revelation, which is also a part of the Old Testament. Revelation is not part of the New Testament. It's not written, it was not sealed by Greeks or Europeans. The book called Revelation is merely a supplement that comes from several books of the Old Testament. Micah is the most of the few books, the most cryptic and codex book that Micah used. Daniel is another one, cryptic, codex, along with Zechariah and Ezekiel, just to name a few. Isaiah and Jeremiah were called upon to copy. But in the meantime, backside appears 3 times in 3 verses. The first is Exodus chapter 3, verse 1. This backside is taken from the Hebrew word known as akar. And it means afterwards, behind. See, behind, afterwards, after the following part. It also means after of time. So there will come a time afterwards, after the Micah book was written within, there's going to come a time afterwards when Micah will take the book back to the backside, explain what the meanings are in cryptic from right to left, the way it was originally hand drafted. That's from behind. That brings you from the, remember, that's the Hebrew word under reference H310, akar. And the etymology of this word, akar, it means to delay and to remain behind. So while I loose these seals, some are going to remain behind. They're not going to come up to go forward and to keep going. They're going to continue to weep. Now, I hadn't got to that yet in Revelation chapter 5, but we're going to get to that in verse 4, I believe, in a few moments. But that's those who are being hindered, cause one to delay. That's according to H309, Ekar. That's the etymology of that first Ekar. The other meaning of behind is in Exodus chapter 26. A different meaning comes with H268, backside. It means to go backside, the rear, hereafter of time, according to that definition, that meaning under that H meaning also the etymology, which is irrelevant, means my brother is evil. That means the brothers are those who try to come to the scrolls to get these scrolls of Revelation and try to interpret them on their own and loose the seal. They cannot do it. We hadn't got to that yet, but we're going to in a moment. They cannot do it. No one can loose the seals. If they could, then they would explain to you what I'm about to reveal and loose today of the three that are in Washington, D.C. today. Two that are aiding Hillel, the president, they call him. And two that are aiding him right now, at least one of those two got to go. Must go. And finally, the third meaning is, of course, is Revelation, chapter 5, verse 1 of backside. And the Greeks came along and stole it from the Hebrew, but they come up with their Greek meaning under G3693 that says from behind. I mean, the Greeks are copying from behind. From behind means from the Old Testament on the back, behind and after the Hebrew. That's what they mean by that backside. But the etymology on the G3700, and it says to look at and behold. So the Greeks, knowing that I would return one day soon in the future, now, today, last days, they would be looking at me loose these seals, and they would be holding themselves. They would tell one another as they look at me right now on YouTube, social media, or Facebook, they would say, behold, he's here loosing the seals to allow oneself to be seen on YouTube, Facebook. That's backside. So this Revelation chapter 5, verse 1 means I will be on YouTube, Facebook, on the backside, reading from right to left and writing from right to left to explain what happened today in translation from left to right of a book, the book called Micah. And verse 2 of Revelation chapter 5 says, and I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, as you hear right now, who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof. That's not a question mark. See, they wouldn't know what that was because it was sealed. They think because it begins with who, the sentence, they think it's a question, but it's not. Who is the answer? That's loosing the book right now, the seals. And they admitted in verse 3 that no man in heaven, nor in earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. This means that they already tried. You don't know that because it was sealed. Revelation chapter 5, verse 3 means many people have come along throughout time and tried to open the book and loose the seals. And they found and discovered that no man in heaven, nor in earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book. How did that begin? Well, let's go back for a moment to chapter 1 of Revelation. Let's see how this all started. How did the book, it was already in the hands of one. That one is in verse 1, Revelation chapter 1, which is the revelation of the Christ, which God gave unto him. That explains why no one could loose the book. It was able to, because God gave it to the Christ, his son. For what purpose? To shew into his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent, as he sent John from chapter 1 of John chapter 1 and verse 4 of John chapter 1, he sent a man. There's a man from God whose name was John in verse 5 of John chapter 1, who came to bear witness of the light. And he sent and signified it by his angel, who unto his servant John, Yohanan. And that was the purpose of Yohanan. And that is who was here with us here in Miami from 1979 as he came to Miami as Moses Israel. Moshe, we call him Ak Moshe. And my people today, some of those hard-headed ones of Judah, are still calling him to that by the English name on the backside. They call him on the backside of their side, written from left to right, Yahweh ben Yahweh. He is not Yahweh ben Yahweh, never was. There's no English. That's the back, that's the front side. You on the front side, not the back side. The back side of Yod Hed Wav He. Beth no Sophie, Yod Hed Wav He. That's the back side, from right to left. The tetragrammaton, repeating itself with Beth no Sophie in the middle. But you don't know what that means. It's a meaning. I went over that in my previous videos. You can go back to my previous videos to get the meaning of the tetragrammaton, what those symbols stands for. 3 Hebrew symbols, one position twice. Go back to my video, refer to that. You'll find out what that means. In the meantime, in verse 2 of Revelation chapter 1, who bear record of the word of God. and of the testimony of the Christ, and of all things that he saw as he bare witness of me. And that will explain the book that you see again on my videos. You see a book on my right side. To the left of your screen, you see a book that John bare record of me and witness. He bared witness of me as he read my book. And he's telling the world, he told the world then that he bare witness of me, the Son, Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh. See the characters again? Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh. 3, one position twice, A, which means what? From left to right. See, that's the front side. The back side is Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh. The front side is Hey, Wav, Hey, Yod, which is what? The door, the way, the truth, and the life. That's the front side, written within, and on the back side, written without. I know I'm going to leave some of those written without soon if you don't straighten up. Verse 3 of Revelation chapter 1 says, blessed is he that readeth as I did. But how? Read it how? From left to right or right to left? How are you listening? From left to right or right to left? Are you on the back side or the front side? Well, nevertheless, blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, either on the back side or the front side, for the time is at hand. Revelation chapter 1, verses 1, 2, and 3. Now back to chapter 5, as I explain this. And verse 4, see? And I wept one wept much. Why? Because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon. And one of the elders said to those who tried, we're going right back now to Isaiah chapter 29. Oh, you didn't know that's coming from Isaiah? I told you it was a supplement. Well, let me show you the mystery and the revelation of this. Go to Isaiah chapter 29 for a moment, and let's see how they found no one worthy to open it. So now we're in Isaiah chapter 29. It's the same book. This is referring to the same book. And you know why no one could be found worthy? Because the spirit of deep sleep was poured out upon them. Begin with verse 10. Verse 10. Isaiah chapter 29. I quote, for the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and hath closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers, hath he covered, and he covered them in Hebrew. When your eyes were closed, you were speaking Hebrew, Judah, Yehuda. You were speaking, reading, and writing in Hebrew, Hebraic, from right to left. He closed your eyes from that moment, and you no longer could read, write, or speak in Hebrew from right to left. You could no longer read or write in Hebrew from right to left. Your eyes were closed. He closed your eyes and opened them up. When you opened your eyes, you were in English. You were in England. Some of you were in England. Some of you were in America. Some of you were in other islands for the Spanish are today, which includes Cuba and Puerto Rico. Again, verse 10, Isaiah chapter 29. For the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and hath closed your eyes in Hebrew, the prophets and your rulers, the seers has he covered, that you could not read what the prophets were writing from right to left in Hebraic. Your eyes were closed. They're still closed. How is that? Verse 11, and the vision of all is becoming to you as the words of a book that is sealed. That is the book. What book? Micah. Micah is the book that is sealed. Micah. Sealed with what? 7 seals. The book called Micah. 7 seals, 7 chapters, all 7 sealed. I'm going to loose one of those seals in a few moments. That involves your president of the United States, his vice president of the United States, and some fellow by the name of Elon Musk or something like that. He must go. Must. See that M-U-S-K? M-U-S-T. So must. Trust in what I'm saying right now. Again, verse 11. And the vision of all is becoming to you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he said, I cannot, for it is sealed, and no one can loose it except the Son of God. No one. He cannot. No one could have. Verse 12. And the book is delivered to him that is not learned. So how are you going to loose the book, read the book, loose the seals? You're not learned. Even if the one that was learned couldn't do it, what makes you think you can do it? You're not learned. Are you learned? Again, the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he said, I am not learned. At least he humbled himself and admitted it. Why can't you? Why can you not humble yourself and admit that you cannot loose these books? What books? All of the books, especially the one that's sealed with 7 seals. How would you know what Mika was explaining or hiding in cryptic and crypto? What did he seal? Did you know? Did you know that Mika, he sealed the trodden underfoot or the mire of the street that's connected to Vance, your vice president of the United States? Did you know that? Did you know that Mika hid Vance in the book? Or did you know that he added Vance? Did you know that he knew that Trump was going to add Vance with him to become vice president while he was campaigning in 2024? Did you know that? Mika knew it. How come you didn't know it? Verse 13 would explain it. Why? Wherefore the Lord said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips, do honor me. But the minute they find out that it's Mika, they honor me with their mouth and with their lips, do honor me. But the minute they find out it's Mika, what you mean Mika? Well, the minute they find that out, they have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men that they're doing today. Back to Revelation chapter 5. Now that I brought to your attention what book it is, where the book comes from, and how you are not able to look thereon, while no one was able to see it, couldn't even read it, much less look at it. Why is that? Well, verse 5. As one of the elders said unto me, weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, had prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. The book was already opened. It was prevailed. It was prevailed. Why was it prevailed? Do you know? You said you claim you can loose it. Explain Revelation chapter 5, verse 5. Why was it prevailed? Well, here's why it was prevailed. It was veiled. It was a veil put over it in Hebraic. The veil was put over the Hebrew scrolls. There was a veil put over the Hebrew scrolls that no one could look at it, read it, and they didn't learn it. They couldn't do anything with it. Why? Because the veil was over it, over their minds, over their hearts, over their eyes. But with Mika, why? Because it was Hebraic. But what Mika came to do, what he did was he loosed the book and revised the book into English. And it now is veiled. It was prevailed in Hebrew. Now it's veiled in English. And you still can't read it. So that means you have 2 standards. You have prevailed and veiled. It was prevailed in Hebraic, that you couldn't read it. Now it's veiled in English. You still can't read it. It was just proven just now in Isaiah chapter 29. No one can. So what else does it say? O Lion, the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Now, where would you find him? Let's go now to Genesis chapter 49 for a moment. Genesis chapter 49. Let's find out how this is connected to Judah. And we're going to take a look and see how that started. It's Genesis, it's not Genesis. There's no, see, that's the first thing you didn't know. As you were reading English from Hebraic, there is no G. It's Gimel. There's no Genesis. It's Gimel. So Genesis, as in Gimel. You don't say Genesis beer. You don't say Genesis beer. You say Genesis beer, not Genesis beer. Genesis chapter 49, verse 1 says, and Jacob called unto his sons, as I quote, and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. These are the last days. Each son became a meaning. Each name of the son became a meaning that was sealed with the book. The fourth son of Yehuda, and that reads verse 8, Yehuda, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be at the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Verse 9, Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, and as an old lion, there is who shall rouse him up. Again, that is not a question. That is who, that is the answer. Who is the one who's rousing this lion up? Why? Because who is the lion? An old lion, the old lion. Who is the old lion? Who is also the God or the father of the children of Israel? I said, who is the lion? He's also the God of the children of Israel. He is not the God of Israel. He is the God of the children of Israel. That means each one of these sons in this chapter 49 of Genesis became a tribe of Israel and not a tribe of the children of Israel. So how is it that you can tell anyone how many are going to be going into New Jerusalem as 144,000? You don't know that. All you saw in Revelation chapter 14 is 100 and 40 and 4,000. That's what you saw. You didn't see 144,000 as in numerics or arithmetic or mathematics. You don't know that each one of those words became a different meaning, separated. Look at verse 28 of Genesis chapter 49 and show me where it says the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Verse 28 says, and I quote, all these are the 12 tribes of Israel. And this is it that their father spake unto them and blessed them, every one according to his blessing. He blessed them. Where are the children of Israel here? If these sons pertain to the children of Israel, then these sons would be here today too. And only their names were used. See, they were sealed. But you didn't know that. Why? Because the book was sealed. This is the backside. Now let's go to the court side. Let's go to the court side. Let's go to the Revelation chapter 12. Let's find out who we have today. Let me loose this so I don't take up too much of your time. Let me explain something to who they are today in Washington, D.C. Revelation chapter 12 and verse 9. And that read, as I quote, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the world, the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. End quote. Explain that. All of you who want to be me. Even had a fella take a photo of that I took once, putting a white shawl around his head, say he is now the Christ. I said it would happen in Matthew chapter 24. He is saying he's the spirit of truth. And yet, that's the first lie that he made. Saying he's the spirit of truth. That's the first lie. If he is the Son of God, or the spirit of truth, then he should be able to explain Revelation chapter 12, verse 9. That's why I gave you the day's date. That's why I said this is now the 25th day of the first month, 6028 of our year. Or Thursday, April 3rd, 2025. So when this is recorded, after those, see, after me, before me are thieves and robbers, and after me they'll come. Because I promised they would. Anyway, Revelation chapter 12, verse 9, the first part gives you the greatness of a dragon. That means that's one that would be coming, he would be drag on, D-R-A-G. This is the front side, G-R-A-D-R-A-G-O-N. That's two words, drag and on. And he dragged on. He dragged on from what? He dragged on from 2020. Dragging on what? His lies, his deception. Let's take a look. How did he drag on? Take a look at the word drag on itself. Type it in your search box in your concordance. D-R-A-G-O-N. This is the front side. Written without on the front side. Drag on appears 19 times in the King James Version Bible. Printed 19. It's not written, it's printed. Now, the first time is in Nehemiah. And it bears a meaning of H8577. The meaning that we're looking for that I hid and sealed is in Psalms chapter 91 and verse 13. I'm going to read that. Psalm chapter 91 verse 13 says, I quote, "Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion, and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet." End quote. I hid this here to coincide with the dragon in Revelation chapter 12, verse 9, that one day will become great, and let's make America great again, who's known to the Celestial Lodge as Hallel. Hallel, the H 1966, Hallel, also known in the Bible as Lucifer. Hallel is the great one, the great dragon from the garden, the serpent, that old serpent. He's called the devil, but he's not Satan. When you go to your concordance and look up H8577, it's going to take you to the serpent. It takes you to the serpent, like a sea monster, a dinosaur. That's the meaning that you're getting in Hebrew. It also takes you to the etymology. On the H8565, it takes you to Tan. It takes you to dragon, maybe the extinct dinosaur, the plesiosaurus, or the whale, or plesiosaurus, or the whale. Not so. This is not a monster revelation. It has nothing to do with monsters or dinosaurs. Why? Because you looked up the word that's juxtaposed together, the two words juxtaposed together as drag on. Now, when you go back to your search box and you separate the G and the O, and you have drag on, you're coming dragging on now. That means what? Inaugurated again on January 20th, 2025. You're dragging on again. Drag on, the great one. And you're not going to find that meaning together in the King James Version Bible, but you will in some Bibles, but not the King James Version. In order to find it together, you'd have to take away the on and just put the drag there. Take away the on and just have D-R-A-G. D-R-A-G. That's the backside. D-R-A-G. The backside. Without the on. That means this on the front side is going to be N-O from left to right. See how it ended with the N? Well, it ends with the O from left to right. You have N-O. That means drag no, but you're not going to put the no there. Only thing you want now is you want the drag. This drag takes you 2 times in the Bible. Drag, D-R-A-G. And that's both are in Hebrew. In the book called Habakkuk. On the chapter 1. That's chapter 1, verses 15 and 16. Why? They take up all of them with the angle. They catch them in their net and gather them in their drag. Therefore, they rejoice and are glad. That's verse 15. Verse 16, Habakkuk chapter 1. Therefore, they sacrifice unto their net and burn incense unto their drag. Why? Because by them their portion is fat and their meat plenteous. When you look up this drag, D-R-A-G, it begins with Mem, same Mem that created Mika. It takes you to the fishing net. That means in the last days, when I loose this seal from Revelation chapter 12, verse 9, that deals with the drag on, it would be great in America. Who would be great? The one who wants to make America great again. He would be back. The second term, dragging on from the first term, from 2016. And he was cast out the first time in 2020. And his angels were cast out with him. Cast out. Why? Because the Biden administration took over. But this is a fishing net. He will be fishing for men. It's a snare. This snare was hidden in one of the seals. This net was hidden in one of the seals, which was the seventh seal of the book of the seals that's called Micah. Now let's go to that for a moment. Go to Micah chapter 7. See, it's great. It's great. Micah 7. Hidden. Why? Because I promised my disciples when I return the last days, I would show these signs, I would show these things, I would loose the seals, I would remove the veil from over their heart, from over their mind when it comes to reading the Old Testament, which is done away in the Christ. Only I can take them away. Then they would know it's me and not the false Christs and the false prophets, as I said, that would rise in the last days, according to Matthew 24, verse 11 and 24. Now take a look at Micah chapter 7. Where's this net that was hidden in the drag? Look at verse 2 of Micah chapter 7. Why? The good man is perished out of the earth, and there is none upright among men. Why? Because they all lie in wait for blood. They hunt every man his brother with a net. That net is a drag net that they use in law enforcement, a drag net. The drag net was brought by the great dragon, that old serpent called the devil, the great dragon. He's here. These are the last days. He's here. That old serpent from where? From Genesis chapter 3. He was cast out of the garden along with his son CAiN. They were both cast out. So where's CAiN? CAiN's in Revelation chapter 12, verse 9 too. Go back to that for a moment. Revelation chapter 12, verse 9. Let me show you where CAiN was hidden.
The books that talk about Jesus, they're not, are out of date or
That's prophetic. You see, Jesus, the man that is called, Jesus, remember his name is Yahshua.
Yeah.
Yahshua was a disciple of John. Mm-hmm. John was the man. John was the prophet. The man called Jesus, when he was baptized, baptized had nothing to do with the water. Again, the scriptures are written figuratively, literally, in metaphors, similes, in prose and in poetry, and full of allegories. So when you read of the man that was called Jesus being baptized and being put under water, then I would have to teach you what baptized means. You'd have to break down the word baptized in all of its letters. See, every word is scientifically composed of letters that are words within themselves. Every letter is a word. So when you break down the word baptized, you have B, which follows A, and I am A. Alpha. B follows the series of A. And B is also the word BE, which comes into existence as a result of A. So, therefore, John was prophesying about A coming, which is the first in the series. And the second set of the word is APT, meaning apt. Now, to be apt, you have to be, that meant that the man was baptized by John, had to become clever, adroit, sagacious, etc., in the ism of John. That made him an ist. That's why he was called John the Baptist. See, he too he came to be in the knowledge of Yahweh, and he then subsequently became apt in the ism, which is the dogma and the laws of Yahweh. So since John was the one that was the prophet, then the man that was called Jesus was baptized by him. That made him a student and a disciple of John, not the one. And when he attempted to assume the mantle of the one, he began to teach secrets that were not to be taught until the time of the one to come. He was 2,000 years, well, 1,900 years early of his coming. And when he began to reveal the knowledge of who Satan was, John 8:44, when he began to reveal the knowledge of the Son, the knowledge of whose right to rule it was, he could not afford to be left alive. So for breaking the secret, for teaching the secret that he had learned in secret, he was killed for it. And that's why he was hung in his shorts, without any clothes on, because he was initiated in that manner. That's why his collarbone was broken and his head was hung to the side. See? Because that's a sign that all men who study in secret understand quite well. I'm the only one to make that clear.
Don't you see verse 9 again says, I quote, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent from Genesis chapter 3 that spoke to the woman in the garden, called the devil. However, and Satan. Don't you see Satan here? Satan is CAiN. Satan is CAiN that came to Job, came with the sons of Job in Job chapter 1 and 2, which you see with the whole world, and so much until you didn't even know he was Satan. Didn't even know he was CAiN. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him, dealing with the great dragon again. Who is his cast? Well, CAiN was cast out of the garden as well. Go back now to the beginning. Genesis chapter 4, verse 16. Let's take a look at that. He went up north after he was cast out. Genesis chapter 4. Look at verse 16. Actually, look at 15 so you can see what was said by the Lord, my God himself. Verse 15 says, I quote, and the Lord said unto him, therefore, whosoever slayeth CAiN, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon CAiN, lest any finding him should kill him. Now, what do you see here in verse 15? Since you say you want to be me, you can loose the seals. What do you see? You can't see anything. You cannot see here the advance here. You cannot see advance here. All you see is vengeance. You see from left to right, V-E-N, G-E-A-N-C-E. You see vengeance. You don't see Vance here with CAiN. When you remove the E-N-G-E, like, again, E-G-E-N-G-E. Yeah, you remove the E, the N here, you have age, with the E, age. But when you remove the E-N-G-E after the V, and then you bring the V with the A, you have V-A-N-C-E, you have Vance. You have the Vice President of the United States today with his boss, Hillel. He's the adder. That's a revelation. I just loosed another seal. Verse 16. So when that happened, when CAiN will be reappearing today in the last day with his father, Hillel, Vance will be here with them. And that shall be taken upon him sevenfold. The sevenfold is the seven seals that was sealed in the book called Micah. That's the sevenfold. That means vengeance is mine today as I loose these seals, and vengeance is mine as I reveal Vance, CAiN, Hillel, and MUSK today. I must do that today with MUSK. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain. And I'm setting the mark. In verse 16, and Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. Verse 17, and Cain knew his wife. That means they had sexual intercourse and she conceived and got pregnant and bare Enoch. And he built a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. Now, when you look up at verse 16, you see something written on the backside and on the front side. Now it's been translated in English. On the backside, you have Nod. Let's take a look at that. On the backside, you have Nod. Go to your concordance and type it in your box. You have N-O-D, Nod. That's the backside. One time in the Bible, that's the same verse and chapter you see it in the book. Genesis chapter 4, verse 16, Nod. Takes you to H5113, 5113. That means when I reveal this in the last days, I will be in a position somewhere on this planet situated on a 51, as in Area 51, or like 51st Street in Miami or Florida, 51. Then I will also be affiliated with 13, as in Mem, the 13th Hebrew alphabet, 13, 5113. That will leave people wandering around. My people of today, Judah, is wandering around the United States today. They are lost. And Nod, wandering, that's what it means. W-A-N-D-E-R-I-N-G, wandering around, lost, confused, don't know where to go. And it has the etymology of Nod is wandering of aimless fugitive. And that's what my people are today, but that's what Cain was doing. He was a fugitive and a vagabond. He still is today. Don't forget, this is the backside. Nod. In Hebrew, from right to left, Nun, Wav, Dalet, Nod. Under H5112. Under H5110, we're going back. We're going back from 13 to 12 to now 10. You have Nod, the same thing. Nun, Wav, Dalet, from right to left. Nod. It takes you to what? To move to and fro. That's Cain. Up and down the earth, to and fro, vagabond. Where you going? Up and down, to and fro. To shake oneself with the head, wagging like an animal, wagging the tail. Don't forget, this is the backside of Nod that's connected to Cain, who's here today on the front side. So what's he called today? He's not called Cain today. He's named after his father, Hillel. And what's Hillel named today? What name did Hillel take on today of the Western European name? Donald. I mean, you have Donald Sr., president, and you have Donald Jr., wannabe president. So that's the front side. You have Donald on the front side and Donald Jr. You have Donald Sr. on the front side and Donald Jr. on the front side. And what do his people call him in short on the front side? That's on the back side of Nod. Right, Don. You have the back side, N-O-D. Now you have the front side, D-O-N, Don. That's Cain. That's Hillel, both father and son. And he's a liar, just as I said in John chapter 8 and verse 44. Cain, he's a liar. He killed his brother, even today, and don't know where he is. He's a liar. He knows exactly where he is. Anyway, that's Revelation chapter 12. This is a little bit of Revelation chapter 12, verse 9. Now, what's the cast? Now you have to find out who the cast is. That was just a little bit of the drag. That's drag on. That's the drag on. So what's the cast out? Well, let's see. This cast out is the same kind of cast that Hollywood has today when they make movies and when they make television programs, sitcoms. They have a cast. a cast of stars. And I promise in Matthew chapter 24 that the stars of heaven shall fall. And they are falling. Every single day a star of heaven is falling. And I mean in shock. Because whoever thought of a Kilmer would be falling today only at the age of 65 or so. A Val Kilmer. Whoever thought that he would be gone today at such an early age? 65 is young. Anyway, what's the cast? Who was cast out? Well, Hillel have his cast. He have a cast. He have a cast out. This cast that you type in your search box and you're going to find out, I hear this cast on the backside. This cast is hitting on the backside on the H5375, cast out. That means this cast would be supported. This cast is found in the Old Testament and the New Testament, the King James Version Bible, a total of 501 times and 474 verses. The cast that we're looking for is hidden under H5375, a cast. That means this cast that Donald will have would be a cast to support him and aid him. This cast falls under the Hebrew word known as nasa, under H5375, nasa. And it means to support, to bear, to lift up, to sustain, to endure, to be exalted, to rise up, and to aid. See, vice president, a vice president is an aide. And he also has someone as an aide that's called a Mulon, an Elon, and Elon Musk. And Elon Musk. But now you see what the cast was hidden and sealed in Revelation chapter 12 and verse 9. It's to support. That means Vance is a supporter of Trump. Musk is a supporter and an aide and assist of Trump. Again, that's under H5375. That's the cast. This cast that you thought is not the cast of the backside. That's the backside in 2020 when they were cast out, literally out of the Oval Office. Cast out of the Oval Office, even had to get those photographs that you see, those pictures that you see on the desk and back of him as he goes on social media and as he goes on news feed. You see all the pictures and photographs of his family, his mother and his father, and his children and grandchildren in the back of him that he placed back in back of him now because now he dragged on. He's the great drag on, make America great again. So he has him back on again. So who is the other cast? The support. Another aide that he bring on now is called Elon Musk. It says E-L-O-N. That's the backside. The front side is E-L for Elohim, short Elohim, and the O-N. He's on. He's on God. He's his own God, Elohim, O-N, M-U-S-K, Musk. He's an aide. He's a cast. He's a part of the cast. He's a cast out of Trump. Okay, at this point, I'm going to pause here for a moment and reveal a very powerful revelation that was sealed under this name, as you see it today, MUSK in English, spelled from left to right, M-U-S-K. That's the front side. Of course, this is the surname of Elon, E-L-O-N, one of the aides, one of those that was cast out, a cast out of Donald Trump. Remember, the cast out is a supporter and an aide, as well as an assistant to the president, or pharaoh, should you prefer. Now, I'll pause here for a moment to reveal and loose this seal as one of those that will be here today as the three. That's the vice president, along with Elon Musk, the two aiders or adders of Donald Trump, the president, the pharaoh of today. Now, here's a revelation that I'm going to loose, this seal of the seventh seal that I hid over 3,000 years ago. I'm the same one. How would you know? Well, here it is as follows. Here is my identity as the Lion of the tribe of Yehudah, as promised in Revelation chapter 5 and verse 5, to loose the seal as follows. Looking at the front side of this name that you see, the surname of Elon, again from left to right in the English letters, 4 English letters, which are M-U-S-K. Again, M-U-S-K, Musk. That's the front side. However, what I seal is on the back side, written within. And that would be spelled from right to left. So when you look at this same surname of Elon that you know only as Musk, and remember, the U.S. is right in the middle of those 2 letters that are on the outside, the M and the K. You have U.S. right in the middle. So now let me share with you and look at the revelation of this seal as I loose it now today. And again, for the record, today is known as Thursday, April 3rd of their calendar, 2025, as well as the 25th day of our first month of our solar calendar, Hebrew, 6028. So now, again, from right to left on the back side, that was sealed with 7 seals that are written, using the same English letters, 4, from right to left, you have M-U-S-K. Again, from right to left, the back side, M-U-S-K. Now, what do you see? You cannot see anything until I reveal it, because remember, this was prevailed. I prevailed to loose the seals. So this is already prevailed. Now let me unveil it. I'm going to unveil it so you can see. Now remember, the front side is M-U-S-K, from left to right, M-U-S-K. The back side that I seal is from right to left, which is M-U-S-K, from right to left. And again, from right to left, it's M-U-S-K. And on the front side, from left to right, it's M-U-S-K. Right? So let's look at the back side, from right to left, M-U-S-K. That means on the left side now, on the front side, you're going to have K-S-U-M. If you have this, you're doing it correctly. Let's look at the front side that was taken from the back side. So the front side you should have from left to right, that you're familiar with, left to right, front side, K-S-U-M. Now what you're going to do, you're going to go to your search box in your Strong Concordance, and you're going to type these 4 letters in the box from right to left. Again, M-U-S-K. However, what you're familiar with is the front side from left to right, and that should be K-U-S-M. Now what I'm going to ask you to do to get this revelation is you're going to separate the K and the S and leave a space there. Now you should have K space S-U-M. Again, K space S-U-M, or from right to left. On the back side, you should have M-U-S space K. Now, when you click on that, in your concordance, when you go to your concordance, although it's going to be kind of difficult to do by just using your book, so you need a computer online, or Strong's Concordance online, it should take you to K and some 21 times and 21 verses. But what we're going to do is focus on the Hebrew, because this is Hebrew. See, this is the backside, Hebrew. And that's going to take you to the last verse of this revelation. And that will be Hebrews chapter 8 and verse 1. So take a look at that. Hebrews chapter 8 and verse 1. And that reads, I'm going to quote it, it reads, "Now of the things which we have spoken, this is the sum," I'm quoting, Again, quoting Hebrews chapter 8, verse 1. Now of the things which we have spoken, this is the sum, colon. We have such an high priest, comma, who is set on the right hand of the throne of the majesty in the heavens, semicolon. Now before we confirm that in verse 2, we know now that we're dealing with the majesty in the heavens, and we know that is the God of the Hebrews. That's Yod. That is the God of the Hebrews, the Almighty One, the God, the life, the God that created life, the universe. He is the majesty in the heavens. And remember, we're dealing with who is set on the right hand of the throne. So you know who is set on the right hand of the throne, that would be his son, on the right hand of the throne. Then we have verse 2 to confirm that. Verse 2 is, and I quote, a minister of the sanctuary, comma, and of the true tabernacle. And there's the identity of the Son, the true tabernacle, according to Revelation chapter 21 and verse 3, the true tabernacle, comma, which is, and I'll read on, which the Lord pitched. See, that's who it is. The true tabernacle is the Lord, the Son, pitched, and not man, end quote. So now let's take a look at the hidden revelation, the mystery of the seal. I'm going to loose the seal under what you see here only as sum, S-U-M in English. Now, the Greeks stole the meaning of the Hebrew meaning. See, this is the book of the Hebrews. So what the Greeks did was they come up with a definition of their own, a meaning, that you'll find in the G2774. Again, G2774. Kephelion. It should be pronounced Kephelion. Kephelion. In Greek, a Greek word. And that Greek meaning, the Greek meaning is the chief or main point, the principal thing. Now we didn't remember, this is the backside, the Hebrew meaning. The backside. Even the precautionary. That's precautionary. Sum total of a reckoning. You got it? That's the first two meanings. Even the amount, that's for the sum. Also the principal, capital, as distinguished from the interest. A sum of money, finally sum. And that's what you're looking at. That's the front side. That's the back side, the Hebrew side. Remember, the Greeks stole it. So the Greeks know that this sum refers allegorically to the chief or main point, and the principal thing. I'm giving you that now. I'm giving you the principal thing of this revelation, of this seal, that I'm loosing under the name MUSK, the surname of Elon, a supporter and aide of Donald Trump. It's got to go. Now take a look at the reference number. Let's prove it. See the reference number, again, G2774. G2774 numeric, as the 7 repeats itself. The first two numerics, 27, is the date on the calendar in September on when the Christ, the Lord that's mentioned here, came out of a womb today during this era of prophecy, which would be September 27, 1954. See, 27, that's September 27, 1954. That's when the Christ came out of a womb and arrived on the planet today. That's 27. That's from left to right, 27. But when you look at 27 from right to left, you have 7.2. That 7.2 is in inches, and that would be the height of the Christ today, how he stands. Even Michael, the great prince, how he would stand. That was promised in Daniel chapter 12, verse 1. He stands at 72 inches. That's 6 feet in height under wall. That's 6 feet. And you'll find that hidden in Revelation chapter 21 and verse 17, the height of the angel. 2:7. And here we have 7 repeating itself. That's joined with 4, 74. That 7-4 from right to left is 4-7. That means when I loose this seal to the United States people today in the world, then the United States, or the United States of Egypt, remember the spiritual Egypt today, will be under the rulership of the 47th Pharaoh. The 47th Pharaoh, or, should you prefer, the 47th President of the United States. And that would be the same great dragon of Revelation chapter 12, verse 9, Donald John Trump Sr., President number 47. This is not a coincidence. Now, when we move on to the etymology of this word, this Greek word we're derived from, it takes you to G2776. This is the front side. Remember, I just gave you the back side. That's the Hebrew side, the celestial side, the throne, the majesty, the throne, the true tabernacle. Now we're on the front side, which is the evil side, from left to right. The evil side takes you to the Greek word known as kephale. Kephale. And this meaning, according to the Greeks, is the first meaning that is our subject. And that says, and I quote, the head, both of men and often of animals. And that is true. Often of animals more than men. Again, the head, both of men and often of animals, period. It goes on to reveal, since the loss of the head destroys life, and that is exactly what's happening today with the 47th Pharaoh, the 47th president. Since the loss of the head destroys life, and it's destroying life, even with the tariffs today. This word is used in the phrases relating to capital and extreme punishment, and that is not a coincidence. That's the truth. I'm revealing and loosening the seal today of Elon Musk and why he became a cast out of Donald Trump. He is a head of an animal, and since the loss of the head destroys life of the animal, of the head of Trump, he is now using his phrases of his billionaire, of his wealth, that related now to capital and extreme punishment to the American people and citizens, not to my people, to their own people. The metaphor of this meaning is anything supreme. Chief, as in the commander-in-chief, the president, also prominent. So there you have it. That's on the front side. That was hidden under the front side of what you thought was Musk. That gives us again, it gives us K space S-U-M. That's the backside of that revelation. And now as we move on, that's the seals. I'm just loosening the seals. Who else do we have? Well, for a moment, let's just stick with Vance for another moment. Remember Psalms chapter 91, verse 13? Let's take a look. Let's go back to that again. Psalms chapter 91, verse 13. And we got that from what? From the drag. So let's go back to the drag for a moment. Remember the drag and then on? Psalm chapter 91 and verse 13. We hit something in there that's connected to the great dragon. Even the feet, the adder, the dragon. See, the dragon is hidden in the Psalm chapter 91, verse 13. I'm going to read that again. I quote, "Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet." That's the dragon. So again, Psalm chapter 91, verse 13, the dragon is found there. I repeat, quote, "Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion, and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. This is taken from Genesis chapter 49 and verse 9. Go back and take a look at that again. Genesis chapter 49 and verse 9. And that reads, I quote, Judah and the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? That's the old lion from the backside. The front side is the young lion, written within. How's that? Now take a look at Psalms chapter 19, at Psalms chapter 91. And verse 13 again, on the dragon. And what do you have? You have the tread upon the lion and adder. Now you have an adder. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder. That's A-N-D, adder. What's the adder? Take a look at adder. This adder is, according to Strong's H6620, this adder is a snake. Take a look. H6620 under adder is a snake, a venomous serpent, perhaps the cobra, adder, or viper. This is hidden in Psalms 91:13, chapter 91, verse 13, along with dragon. Now you see the dragon is the great dragon from Revelation chapter 12, verse 9. The great dragon's here, and that adder is also the serpent, poisonous, but another adder. That's another adder who's coming upon the lion. This lion is also Micah, the young lion, hidden, sealed. Let's prove it. Go to Micah chapter 5 now. Micah chapter 5. All hidden, that my people will know it's me when I come back. I'll put all this together from Revelation chapter 1, verse 1, and show you things that must shortly come to pass, that you'll know it's me among all those who wants to be me, outside of those who wants to be Micah. They want to be the prophet. They want to be the Son of God. Micah chapter 5 and verse 6. Let's go to chapter 5, verse 7 and 8. Verses 7 and 8, Micah chapter 5, verses 7 and 8. Verse 7, quote, and the remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of many people, as a dew from the Lord, as the showers upon the grass, that tarrieth not for man, nor waiteth for the sons of men. And verse 8 of subject of the lion, the young lion, and the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles in the midst of many people, as a lion among the beasts of the forest, as a young lion among the flocks of sheep. Who? See who there? It's not a question. Who, if he go through, both treadeth down, treadeth down, and teareth in pieces, and none can deliver. How come there's no question mark, since it begins with who after the colon? But see the young lion, this young lion with the dragon of Psalm chapter 91, verse 13. So it tells you who's the adder. Remember, the adder is the serpent. So now when you write down adder, or write down ad without the der, just write down ad. We added a serpent to Psalm chapter 91, verse 13. We added a serpent, a venomous serpent that was hidden in the dragon. So who did we add? Who did he add to his administration this time? He added Vance. He advanced. See, he advanced, dragon. Now you have a D without another D for the devil. See, the devil is already there. So you don't need two D's there. All you need is one D with the add. I mean, you need to see A, D. to go advance. Now you have advance. What? I told you in advance. That's on the backside, written within and without. Sealed with 7 seals. Now you're going in advance. Advance. And speaking of adder, go back for a moment to Revelation chapter 22. Let me show you the penalties of those who tried in the past, trying to get around Isaiah chapter 29, verses 10, 11, and 12. Let me show you what happens to those who wants to add on to my words or try to decipher them, and they can't do it. It's impossible. It's only one. When you see a lion, the lion, and verse 18. I read, "For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book." I repeat, I testify. I testify. Mika, I testify. I'm going to read verbatim. I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, God shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. And now you have an advance. Verse 19, and if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, God shall take away his part out of the book of life and out of the holy city and from the things which are written in this book, period. And just for the sake of the last verse says, this is the last verse of Revelation chapter 22, verse 20. He which testifieth these things saith, surely I come quickly, and you didn't even know it. I am here. You have some people and theologians and clergies of the world saying, Jesus is coming soon. Well, I'm here. And I'm not, my name is not Jesus. I'm not Greek. I don't have no white hair, no blonde hair, no white skin, no blue eyes. I ran over the blue eye testimony last week. Again, verse 20. He which testifieth these things saith, surely I come quickly. Who? My Father and myself. Amen. My Father and myself, and John is included. That's our 1 John chapter 5. There's 3. Father, Son, Holy Ghost. Amen. That's what that means. Amen. Even so, come, the Christ, Lord Christ. So now you have advance. You have Vance, who is the adder of the Trump administration, become vice president. Now take a look at Job chapter 8 for a moment in verse 11. Job chapter 8. And verse 11. Who is Vance? When you go to Google, I'm going to encourage you to do it because we're going to do it for you. If you don't want to do it, I'm going to do it for you. Go to Google. Who is Vance? Vance connected to my prophecies today and with the trodden underfoot. I hear this so my disciples would know it's me. And you know it's me during the time when the Trump administration would be in office. That would signify even closer to the last days, the very last days. When you go to Vance and look up in Google, what's the meaning of Vance? What's the meaning of Vance? It means marsh. M-A-R-S-H, marsh. The name Vance means marsh. The name Vance, as Vice President Vance, means marsh. How is he connected to my prophecy? The name, not him. He's not connected to anything that I have. It's just the name. I see on the backside, sealed with 7 seals. So he's got to be found in the 7 seals. In the book called Mika. Marsh. When you look at marsh, the synonymous word for marsh is mire. Let's prove it. We're gonna eventually get to Job chapter 8, but go to your Strong's Concordance now and type in mire. That is the synonymous word for marsh. When you type in mire, it's going to take you to Job chapter 8 and verse 11. It's found 15 times in the King James Version Bible. Mire, M-I-R-E, from left to right. That's on the front side, M-I-R-E. 15 times and 14 verses. The second time is Job chapter 8, verse 11. And when you click on that meaning under H1207, it takes you to marsh. That's what a marsh is, a Vance. That is Vance, Vice President Vance of the Trump administration of Revelation chapter 12, verse 9, a cast. He's a cast out. Why? He's a supporter, an assistant, an aid to the great dragon, that old serpent. Now you have marsh. So how's it connected to the seven seals? Well, let's read Job chapter 8, verse 11, as I quote, "Can the rush grow up without mire? Can the flag grow without water?" What flag? What flag is that? It's the United States flag. Can it grow without water? No. The water is the people. So the people are needed in the Trump administration in order to make this flag grow, to become great again, America, the American flag. So now you have, can the rush grow? What's the rush? Are you in a hurry? Can the rush grow up without mire? So what's the rush? Now this mire under H1207 is connected to white linen. It will also be connected to Vance. It'll also be connected to Elon Musk. Let's prove it. When you go back now to the meaning we just gave you under H1207, under marsh, you're going to find an intensive form of the etymology under 1206, H1206. It takes you to mire, right back to mire. However, that's going to take you to the probable of the etymology, which is H948. H948. That takes you to the fine white linen cloth made in Egypt. Egypt today is known spiritually as the United States of America, spiritual. And that's confirmed in Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8. The city, the great city, spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, is the United States of America. Why Sodom? Homosexuality. And they call it legal. They're allowing men to marry men, and they're allowing women to marry women. Homosexuality, Sodom all over again, just like Sodom and Gomorrah. All over the place. Men laying with men as if it's a woman, violating Leviticus chapter 20. It's all in Leviticus chapter 20. Men lying with men, women lying with women as if it's a man. A man lying with a woman. A man lying with a man as if it's a woman. All going to be destroyed eventually. In time. You have your fun now while you have it. But as I said of subject, the white linen is coming from Vance, from the marsh, from the mire. Coming from the mire. All hidden. Now let's prove it. Go to Micah now, chapter 7, the seals. Remember the seals? Go to Micah chapter 7, the seven seals. The seventh seal. And let's take a look at 10. Verse 10. And that says, "Then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her which saith unto me, Where is the Lord thy God? Mine eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets. That mire of the streets is Vance. So who's the she? The she is not a she. That's an S in front of the H-E. That's a he. The he here is mine enemy from the beginning, which was Satan. Actually, the great dragon. The serpent. That's my enemy. See, the S is for serpent. There was no she. This is cryptic. Which she do you know in history ever became an enemy to Micah or to any prophet? That so-called prophet you thought was prophet. What enemy did you think a she would come to Yahshua, the son of Nun? Or which she was it to the Christ? What enemy did the Christ have over 2,027 years ago? That's S, the serpent in front of H-E for she, which is mine enemy. And Job was the only one, if you find in Job, that was Satan asked, where's your God? Who is your God? Where is your God? That H-E-R is not H-E-R, that's the H-E, he of the R of ruling. He was given time to rule. That's the rule, the R, rule. He rules, H-E, rule. His S, every place you see S-H-E, that's the serpent, that's E. He, the serpent, he. He, rule, H-E-R. Twice in the same verse. And again, the mire of the streets of Pennsylvania Avenue and the White House, Washington District of Columbia, mire, Vance. He is the adder. Remember, N-adVANCE. That means Trump added him. Trump added him. Now let's go back for a moment to strong concordance under add. Remember add? You got the adder, and now you have add. Add is found 33 times in the King James Version Holy Bible. 33 times. And the add that we're looking for is found in Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 1. Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. As I read, I quote, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin." End quote. So what are we looking at here? It says, woe to the rebellious children. Who are they? They are in verse 2 that said, I quote, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. So these rebellious children are not the children of Israel. These are the children of the devil, the children of all nations, especially the children of Judah. Not the children of Israel. These are children of Judah, the children of rebellious children, the children of Satan, the children of the devil. How's that proven? Because they're not asking anything of my Father. They saith, they take counsel, but not of my Father, me. It says me. That's all caps, Lord. Now, thus saith the Lord. That's all caps. And that is my arm. When you read in the Bible, and when you see in the Bible, Lord, from left to right, with the letters L-O-R-D, in all caps, the theologians of the world who transliterate these from England want you to know that they was referring to the Father of the two. That's both, the Father. So that's two. You must get that in your mind, clear in your mind before I read on. You must know that there's two. There's the Father and the Son. There's a Father and a Son in the Bible. The Father is known in all caps, L-O-R-D. And sometimes you see the L-O-R-D in all caps, and next to it you see the capital G and lowercase o-d. That's still the Father. There are also times when you're going to look in the Bible and you're going to see capital L, lowercase o-r-d, That's capital L, uppercase L, lowercase ord. That's the Son. And sometimes you may find in the Bible capital L, uppercase L, lowercase ord, and next to that, you'll see God in all caps. That is still the Son. That's how you distinguish the one from the other. The Father's always big. He's bigger because he's greater. He is the greatest. He's God. He created the Son, which is himself. He merely produced a man from his own loins and became his only begotten. And that cover with a covering, but not of ma'av, of his spirit, that they may add sin to sin. How do they add sin to sin? By Hallel adding Vance to his sin. Now we have sin to sin. Add sin to sin. And now you add another sin with Elon Musk. Add. How's that? Well, let's take a look at Elon and see how it's connected to Vance, especially with the white cloth or the white linen. So who is that? Elon Musk. Go back, you'll find he's hidden in Job chapter 18. Let's go back to Job chapter 18 for a moment. Where the mire is. Actually, Job chapter 8. Job chapter 8, where the mire is. See, that means the mire and, or should I say, Vance and Elon is in the same verse here, hidden and cryptic. I sealed it. And the seven seals. Even on the backside, hidden in Exodus and Numbers, but mostly in Exodus under her. Not the H-E-R, but the H-U-R. I read it again, Job chapter 8, verse 11. Quote, can the rush grow up without mire? Can the flag grow without water? End quote. Now that means, can Elon Musk grow up without Vance? No, they must be together until a certain time when I get rid of the K of M-U-S-K and put the T, that he must go in time. Now, what you see is R-U-S-H. You see R-U-S-H. Which stands out the most? In the middle, you have R on the left side and H on the right side, and in the middle, you have U-S. In Musk, the last name of Elon, you have M on the left side, you have K on the right side, in the middle, you have U.S. That means he will be in the last days in the United States, the U.S. with us. U.S. How is that? Remember, on the back side, sealed with 7 seals, but on this side, loosed from left to right. Now, when you scramble this together, when you scramble these R-U-S-H and take out the 8, the S, because now we're on this side, you're left with H-U-R. You're left with H-U-R. So type that in your Strong's Concordance search box. H-U-R, which is her, as in the son of her. See the S, son of her. In fact, you type in the H-U-R, but then you space and you put the S there. Don't leave out the S because it's supposed to be rushed. Scramble on this side now. So type in H-U-R space S. It's going to take you to her. Her. 16 times in the Bible, King James Version. See, I told you it was hidden in Exodus. I said also in Numbers. So when you type on, when you click in on her, the meaning of it, on the H2354, it takes you to God. It takes you to a hole. This is the hole where the water would be settled in the hole in the ground, in the dirt, to create mud and create swamp and create marsh under H2354. However, the etymology of this is H2353. that takes you to white cloth, the white stuff that's connected to the N-adVANCE, which is the white linen hidden under mire. That means they must be together in the last days. They must be together. Under H2357, it takes you to be white and to grow white and to grow pale. They must be together. They must be two white men together as a cast out of the great dragon, that old serpent. Here are two cast outs of the old serpent called the devil, the great dragon of that revelation. Synonymously, allegorically, prophetically, and now I fulfill and loose the seal of this mystery. Only part of it. This is not all of it. I only gave you a little. Also, let's go back and confirm it as we close to Micah chapter 7 and verse 10. I repeat, then she that is mine enemy shall see it. And they are looking right now on YouTube, looking right at it. And shame shall cover her, him, who said to me, where is the Lord thy God? I am not Michael the black man. I'm Michael the archangel. I am the warrior. I am the one with the sword, the two-edged sword. Can't you tell? If you can't, my eyes, see mine eyes shall behold her, mine eyes shall behold her. And now shall he be trodden down as the mire of his vice president of the streets on Pennsylvania Avenue, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. That's just a little bit of revelation. I'm not going to give you all of it. I just wanted to I want my disciples to know I'm here. I want the world to know that I'm here. You can continue to try to hide it if you like with your bogus views that you don't want people to see my videos. It's okay. I'm in charge. Oh, you wait and see. You'll see. I'm in charge. I want my people to stay safe if you can. Get ready. See, the tariffs are out now. The tariffs are out and the sheriffs are out. So now you have two things to look for, Julie. You have the sheriffs and tariffs. They're both out to get you. You better come to Miami before it's too late. With that said, Shalom, Yehuda.